Welcome back to our PlayStation 2 Mega Collab. This is part 2, where we are celebrating 20 years of the PlayStation 2 with 20 hidden gems. Wow. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking the Fruit Monster by Great Notion Brewing Company. It's a tart ale with mango, guava, and peach.
All right, you know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's celebrate 20 years of the PlayStation 2 with 10 more hidden gems.
Off the grid. Boom shakalaka.
You have arrived to part 2 of our PlayStation 2 Mega Collaboration, celebrating 20 years of the PlayStation 2, and by the end of this, you will have 20 hidden gems delivered to your front doorstep for the illustrious PlayStation 2. Yesterday, we got the first 10 out of the way. If you haven't seen that video yet, you might want to backtrack and watch part 1, because this is part 2. And we are going to jump right in with
Onaretrotip. Let's fly over the pond.
Hi guys, my name's Pete, Onaretrotip, and the guys at Gaming Off the Grid have asked me to share a little PS2 memory. And I remember when the PS2 came out, around that time I first moved out of my parents' house, so the start of the year 2000. And I had a PS2, one of my flatmates had a Dreamcast, and it was kind of a few lads living together, and it was my first taste of freedom. And I remember many late nights staying up playing PS2 and playing like Grand Theft Auto all night. But yeah, they've also asked me to share a little gaming gem on the PS2, and I'm going to pick Shock's Rally Reinvented. And this is an EA Sports game, really arcadey rally game, and it's one that I played to death back in the day and still really enjoy, and it seems to have passed a lot of people under the radar, and certainly over here it's still only a couple of quid, maybe it's a couple of dollars over in the States, I'm not sure. A super fun game, really arcadey, quick blasts. It has this mechanism where you have to meet the time, you get the little time targets for each section of the race. So if you beat that, you get a little bonus and all these fireworks going off and everything, and it's just really fun multiplayer, and it's just so arcadey because I've never really been into simulation games like Gran Turismo and the like. I love the arcadey games, and this is just the most arcadey rally game I've ever played. Absolutely love it. Thanks for having me on, guys. Cheers.
It's me, your guy, TBelly here. The PlayStation 2 anniversary. Thanks again to God G for letting me be a part of this awesome collaboration. So I have to say, when it comes to the PS2 and a hidden gem, I think this is the game for me, and I think many of you guys, including God G, I know they don't have this game. I don't have it either. But Galactic Wrestling featuring Ultimate Muscle. It is developed by Aki. If you guys know who Aki is, they developed those famous N64 awesome, and I mean awesome, WWF and WCW games, World Tour, Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, and No Mercy, as well as the Def Jam Vendetta and Def Jam Fight for New York games. This game fits right in that same group of games. It was on PS2. It was one of the later titles. It had pretty cool animated graphics. They had extreme finishers, tag team finishers, and I had no idea about the anime, never seen it before, but me and my friends did not care. We plugged in the multi-tap and we just got rocking and rolling and having a good old time. There was this big character named Sunshine, and man, we were scared of Sunshine. Sunshine was kicking our ass for a while, but eventually we took his ass down, and it was just a fun time, great game. And I think it's a game a lot of people need to try it out before the price gets really high on it. It was phenomenal on the PlayStation 2. The multi-tap gave you a reason to pull that bad boy out, and it just gave you that experience of back in the N64 wrestling days, but now in the PlayStation 2, especially when Def Jam Vendetta was kind of played out, and I never bought Fight for New York because I wanted a ring. So this was like the only consolation prize I can get, and it was more than a consolation prize. It was a good time, and that's my hidden gem on the PlayStation 2.
What's going on, Gaming Off the Grid? It is SmashJt, and you guys, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this epic collaboration of our love for the PlayStation 2. My favorite hidden gem or lesser known game is from Software, which everyone knows for Dark Souls nowadays, but Kingsfield, the ancient city, is an epic adventure that nobody ever talks about. Like, Kingsfield 1 and Kingsfield 2 on the original PlayStation are some of my favorite games ever, and this game took it to the next level. As far as the original PlayStation 2, I still remember when I got mine. I was in line, I was going to college in Maine, and I was standing outside a snowstorm of Walmart because the day before they said they're getting them in stock, and everybody started lining up out there. It was freezing, and I was like, I don't care. I want to be one of the first people to ever get a PlayStation 2. Sure enough, I did. It was like, after buying 3 games with it, like $500 or $600 plus tax afterwards. It was a crazy amount of money to spend in college. It was basically, I blew all my money I had on that one item on that one shopping day. No regrets. I got definitely my money's worth out of it. Anyways, that's my feeling on the PlayStation 2, my love for it, and yeah, definitely check out Kingsfield, the Ancient City if you haven't already. Thank you so much for having me, and you stay smashing.
What's up, guys? It's Megadan29, and my hidden gem for the PS2 is Destroy All Humans. Not DMA, but Destroy All Humans. And this is basically Grand Theft Auto meets Aliens. And you basically run around and you destroy all the humans. You fly UFOs, you shoot lasers, you electrocute people, you can pick people up and throw them with your mind. You do all kinds of really cool stuff. This game is also only runs you about 10 bucks for a complete copy, so it's a really, really affordable price. And they actually just did a remake, a remaster of it also, which kind of ruined the whole hidden gem type of thing. But before that, people really didn't know much about this game. And I grew up playing this and I loved it. And there's actually a second one as well that nobody really talks about. So make sure you check that one out. But Destroy All Humans is really awesome. Game takes roughly about 5-6 hours to beat. It's really good. It's a must play. Really goofy story. Takes place in the 50s. Give it a shot. Awesome stuff. Happy anniversary to the PlayStation 2. Let's play it, baby.
What's going on, gamers? The Trollster is here to bring you his PS2 hidden gem. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite consoles to collect for. And this hidden gem is made by Capcom. It's called Shadow of Rome. Now, this game came out in 2005, and it is a retelling of history of sorts. We all know Julius Caesar, we all know he was murdered, but in this game, you're a soldier in the Roman army, and you find out that Julius Caesar is murdered, and your father is accused of doing it. Quite the old shell shock, I'm sure. And instead of just executing your father, they hold a gladiator competition, and the winner of the competition gets to execute your dad. So what do? Any good-natured son, he takes out the sword and shield and enters the gladiator tournament himself so that he can be there at the very end. Now with that, there's also a lot of plot twists, some political stuff going on. So it's not all action, although there's a lot. There's also a stealth element to it, where the other character, your cousin, I believe Octavius, you're doing more stealth. He's not real action oriented, so you're going around, you're hiding behind guards. You're trying to hear basically what's going on in the game. You're trying to figure out what actually happened to Julius Caesar. Is your uncle responsible for the murder? So you have the action gladiator stuff. It's brutal, it's gore, you can beat people with limbs, you can jump on a chariot. There's a whole bunch of cool combat related mechanics to it. And then you have the quieter side, the stealth. Those elements, although cool, haven't aged particularly as well, but they're still really fun. A little bit repetitive at times. There's a few things that can drive you a little banana sandwich, but for the most part, a great game, a great story, and not particularly short either. I mean, it's like 20 to 30 hour game. And again, like I said, the gladiator stuff, they really tried to epitomize what the Roman gladiators did back in the day. So if you want some gore, you want some good hack and slash action RPG elements with your upgrade system a little bit, but really it's an action slashing game with a little bit of stealth elements, then Shadow of Rome on the PS2 is a great hidden gem that needs to be played.
What's up, nerdlings?
Hey, nerdlings.
So the PS2 is 20 years old. Oh, whoa.
Are we okay?
I'm not. No. But what an amazing system. And let's face it, it doesn't matter if you like it big
Or little, like me.
because the thing had so many games. Now, maybe not a hidden gem to most, but MAXIMO. Spiritual successors to Ghosts and Goblins and Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Awesome 3D platforming, action-based combat, and Army of Zen is when he really started to get his groove going. You're saving townspeople. Help me! You're fighting robots. You've got a sword. You've got a shield. You've even got the Grim Reaper on your side.
You're free now. Mine is clearly not quite so hidden because there were 8 of them in the series. This is Dragon Quest VIII. It's got great voice acting, an epic storyline, and who doesn't want to play in a cartoon? What a gorgeous addition to the franchise. And this is the game that introduced me to slimes. How adorable. Poof poof.
Voila. Le poof poof.
Happy 20 years to the PS2. I remember picking you up on day 1. Yes, I do, you fun little system. You were just so much fun, you were.
I'm just worried that it's not of age yet, so how are they playing with Got G?
Thanks for having us along for the collab, Got G, and hey, go check out some hidden gems.
PlayStation 2 is one of the best consoles ever created, and one of my favorite of all time. There are so many positives about the PlayStation 2 for me, but some of my favorite things are the look of it. I absolutely love that dark monolithic design, and when I very first saw it, it looked like nothing I'd ever seen before. On top of that, the DualShock 2 controller is just an absolute pleasure to use. But one of the most outstanding things about the PlayStation 2 is its vast library of quality video games. And in and amongst all of those amazing video games are still so many hidden gems for people to find. Now, one of these hidden gems on the PlayStation 2, and one of my favorite games on the console, is actually only the second game I ever played on the PlayStation 2. I was at uni and my friend had just bought a PlayStation 2, and we'd been hammering SSX, but then one day I went in to play some SSX, but he was playing a different game, and that game was Shadow of Memories, or as it's known in the US, Shadow of Destiny. Shadow of Memories is an absolutely fantastic game by Konami when they were making some of their best games ever. The thing that struck me about Shadow of Memories or Shadow of Destiny when I first came across it was the style of the game. It was so captivating and alluring. It was like I was watching a really interesting movie. And as I watched the game more and started to experience it, I started to realise that this was no ordinary game. This game had something special about it. It reminded me of some other games from Konami's history, more specifically Silent Hill, in the style in which it played. However, it was special, it was unique. It wasn't a Silent Hill clone. It wasn't even a horror game. But there was something distinctly unsettling about it. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail for anybody who's not played it, but the story revolves around you trying to solve your own murder. Somehow you end up getting killed, but you get given the strange opportunity to go back in time over and over to try to unravel the mystery of your own death. This is where Shadow of Memories just blew me away. Playing through the same areas, the same levels, in different timepieces was just phenomenal, and at the time it was nothing I'd ever done in a video game before. But the story is handled with pure class and beauty. There's no moment that it feels cheesy, and I think a large part to that is in the quality of the characters that you interact with and the story that's being told. This for me is where Shadow of Memories shines. And this for me is why it is one of my favourite games of the PlayStation 2 library. And even more than that, it's one of my favourite video games of all time. And that's why I urge you on this amazing PlayStation 2 anniversary to go out, find yourself a copy of Shadow of Memories or Shadow of Destiny and lose yourself in the amazing, wonderful story. Now I want to thank my Retro Refresh brothers, Wes and Robert, for having me on the channel and part of this amazing collaboration. Gaming Off the Grid is one of my favourite channels and it's always a pleasure working with you guys.
Hey guys, it's Gamer Ahmer here. So today we're talking about the PlayStation 2's 20th anniversary. So I just love this system. It's one that I love collecting games for, and I have so many great memories. So back in the day, I would grab a new game, grab my controller, my memory card, book it over to a friend's house, and we would play countless hours with Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Twisted Metal, The Simpsons, and so many other classic games. So one that's often not talked about is this one right here. This is War of the Monsters, a PlayStation 2 exclusive, and you can still play it on the PlayStation 4. So if you missed out, you can actually still play it. So this definitely stands out. It's so fast paced, it's very difficult, but rewarding. So this one, you're pretty much a giant monster and you're going up against other giant monsters that you battle against. You can destroy anything in the environment. You can use it as a weapon. There's cars driving by, there's people running and screaming, there's helicopters, there's sirens. It's just so interactive. There's so much detail in this game, and it definitely pays tribute to those classic monster movie genres, and you can tell whoever created this absolutely loved those monster movies. So even in the main menu, you actually see this drive-in movie theater image. And one of my first drive-in movie theater experiences was Godzilla. So this is so cool. Even the loading screens show big movie posters of these monsters. There's so much to unlock. It's so rewarding, and there's just so much fun to be had. So I highly recommend this game, and I appreciate the opportunity of being included in this list. So thank you guys so much.
What's up everybody, RetroWolf88 here. Now even though I mainly played the GameCube during that console generation, I also owned a PS2 and an Xbox as well, and I have a lot of fond memories with the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 holds a special place in my heart, and one of the games that I really enjoyed on the PlayStation 2 that I never hear anybody talk about is Drakon the Ancient Gates, and it's a total hidden gem. Developed by Surreal Software and actually published by Sony as a PS2 exclusive, Drakon the Ancient Gates was released on January 2nd, 2002, and it is an epic single-player action-adventure game. The gameplay is split into two parts. The majority of the gameplay takes place on the ground as you control Ren and explore a massive world and work through the main quest line as well as side quests. You will explore dungeons and ruins, find and buy weapons, potions, and equipment, and gain experience and level up to get skill points. Combat is primarily done with melee weapons and bows, but you will also have spells you can cast, so there's plenty of variety in the combat. The other part to the gameplay involves flying around on your dragon or rock. You can pretty much mount and dismount your dragon at will and fly around the world spitting fireballs and biting enemies both in the air and on the ground, and it is awesome. This adds a good bit of variety overall to the gameplay and creates a larger sense of epicness and scale. Drakon the Ancient Gates reviewed pretty damn well with a Metacritic critic score of 78 out of 100 and a user score of 8.6 out of 10, so I don't really know why I never hear anyone talking about this total gem of a game, especially considering it was published by Sony as a PS2 exclusive. Now I will say that the game is not perfect by any means, as it does have its fair share of problems, most notably being the somewhat janky controls and pretty janky melee and bow combat. And if you want to aim with your bow in first person view, you might as well forget it because it is way too touchy to aim effectively. Despite the issues though, Drakon the Ancient Gates is a really unique and fun game that is a total hidden gem exclusive on the PlayStation 2 that I highly recommend checking out. And the great news is that the game is not expensive at all. Thank you Gaming Off the Grid for the opportunity to join in this awesome collaboration. Later.
So many awesome games, so many awesome content creators, guys. If you haven't checked out all these channels, the description below is going to get a little messy, but we're going to put links to every single one of their channels. If you guys like what we do, you would love every single person who's been a part of this collaboration. You got to check them out, spread the love, enjoy their content, because there's some great folks and great gamers as well. Holy cow. 20 hidden gems. Some of these games we've never even played.
Yeah, and all of them look badass. I'm like, dude, I want to get that game. We need to get that game. Actually, in preparation for this episode, getting all these clips, we've bought a lot of PS2 games.
Yeah. So the fun part about the PS2, guys, as a collector, I think, is that there is such a deep library that even in 2020, we're still finding games to pick up. You know, if you refer back to part 1 of this collab, our game that we chose, Red Star, is new to us this year, and someone told us about it in the comment section. We're like, hey, that sounds kind of cool. We'll pick it up. And
now it's like our favorite game on the PS2, dude. It's insane. Let's talk about our memories of the PS2, because 20 years, man, that's a long time, and we both are rocking our original still.
Yeah, it was a major shift for me. I mean, I know you're quite a bit younger than me, so I'll be interested to kind of see what you thought of it when you got it. But for me, I just felt like it was that growing up, that was like the teenage console to have. It felt so much more raw and edgy than Nintendo stuff did. I distinctly remember when my brother got a GameCube, which I love the GameCube now. But back then, I was just kind of like, I'm kind of over the Nintendo thing. I wanted the Grand Theft Autos and the Metal Gears. Those games felt very edgy to me. I remember my mind being blown by the graphics. I think that technological leap from PS1, 64, all the way to the PlayStation 2 was just like
insane.
Holy smokes. The graphics in Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. I'll never forget the first time I seen them. I was just like, it's not going to get any better than this.
Yeah. Mind-blowing.
Yeah, so it was just a console across the board. I loved all the genres. I was, way into the sports games, all the way into the strategy games, and then, God of War came out, and still one of my favorite hack and slash type games. Such an amazing 1 and 2 are still my favorite in the franchise. It had everything to offer that I could have wanted at the time. But I was a little bit older. Yeah. So what were you thinking during the time?
Well, I got a 64. My mom had an NES, so I grew up a Nintendo kid. And it was this. I got my PS2. I got the fat one. I don't think I got it like right when it came out, but I got it maybe a couple years after it came out. But I got the fat one, and I was like, dude, this is incredible. Guitar Hero. I was playing the James Bond games. My neighbor had a PS2. One of my favorite parts too about the PlayStation 2, and kids nowadays will not relate to this, but the game cases came with memory card slots.
Yeah.
So you would take a game over with your save state. I actually lost a lot of memory cards that way too, because I'd like put it in a certain game and be like, where the hell's my memory card? I don't have to open every case. Yeah. So that part kind of sucked. But that was so innovative. That was so awesome they did that. And I remember my PS2 Fat started to break. So like I jerry-rigged it with rubber bands, so every time I put a disc in, I'd have to take the top off and like spin it manually to get it to go, and then it would start.
Nice.
It was super sketchy, but then it worked. And then I got a Slim.
Yeah.
And I'm still rocking my Slim, dude. This was a console that I played all the time. I'm not a huge sports fan game, like Simulation Sports, but I played MVP Baseball 05 all the time on my PS2. I loved it. I played baseball back when I was a kid, and I would come home from playing baseball, from being on the bench, and be the MVP in MVP Baseball 05. It was awesome. Go Orioles, man. It was such a great console.
I think across the board, again, sports games, I've always gravitated more probably towards arcade-style sports games. Yeah. But I do think from arcade sports to sim sports, I think that time frame, whether you were playing on the Xbox or the PlayStation 2, just that generation, they were the best. I think your best football games with, Madden 05, 04, maybe even 03 in that conversation. The NFL 2K5, which was one of the last 2K football games that had the NFL license. It was just on point. The baseball games, MLB The Show started.
Oh, The Show started, and you can't forget, we still play this all the time. Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
I know it's such an easy, simple game. And we're just talking about, we're just talking about sports games right now. And there's so many different genres. There's shmups, there's beat 'em ups, there's everything you could want is on the PS2. It's insane.
It deters me from buying other games too. So I was walking through the thrift store the other day, and there was for 50 cents, there was a copy of Tiger Woods 07 on the 360. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure the graphics are awesome. And I was thinking about getting it, and I'm like, no, I mean, we play Tiger Woods 04 or 05 on the PS2 all the time, and I don't need anything else.
We're
to me,
content with that.
What else do you need in a golf game than those games?
You don't.
And John Daly's in them, so it makes me feel cool when I play as him. So
yeah, even though I beat him last time we played.
We love the PlayStation 2. Those of you who've been around for a while probably know that. 20 years of the PlayStation 2. And then to be able to assemble a group from the retro game community that we look up to all these channels. We've been friends with most of these channels our entire duration on YouTube.
It's so awesome to bring people together.
Yeah, and to share the love for the console as a group is really cool. So a big shout out again to all the folks that helped with this. We had JLove81, Kenzilla, John Riggs, Captain Algebra, Retro, Gamer Boy, Sean from the Nerd Layer, Gabo, MC Mur, Pac-Man Case in part 1. All great channels. You need to check them out. So much love there. It just goes without saying. And then in this episode, obviously, you had Onaretrotip, TBelly, SmashJt, Megadan29, Telesplash Gaming, Do You Nerd, Chronik Spartan, Gamer, Ahmer, and Mr. RetroWolf88. Hashtag, he is currently YouTuber of the month.
Ooh, a little plug there for that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so anyways, let's jump into this beer and wrap this up. So much PS2 love, but we also got a little brew love.
Oh, yes. So this is the Fruit Monster from Great Notion, which is a brewery out in Portland. Yeah. This is a tart ale with mango, guava, and peach. Our good friend Joe Wallace sent this to us. We've had the pleasure of going to Great Notion, and all their beers, man, are so good. What do you think of the Fruit Monster? I love this can art.
Yeah, I do too, and I think we've had a few from this series. This is really good. I would say, of the ones we have, this is more of a traditional sour. I'm getting way more of that with this than maybe I did the other ones.
The tart,
Yeah, those other ones almost were like dessert beers. This is more like a traditional sour, and it's damn good. The peach and mango really come through.
This is really good. You really get those fruit sour tastes out of it.
They just make a great beer. And their other sours, although I think the flavor profile was maybe a little better, I was kind of like, is this really a sour? Because it was so sweet. This is more of a traditional sour, so I really like this. This is a very good beer from a great brewery. Guys, we can't stress enough enough how awesome the PS2 is. Many of the games that were brought up in this 20 hidden gems for 20 years of the PlayStation 2, you can get on the DL.
Yes, which is
very,
awesome.
very cheap. I know when we were talking to Pac-Man Case and he picked, what was it, Connecticut? Oh. Right away we jumped on, we're like, dude, what was it, like $7.99?
Yeah,
Boom.
that's badass.
Yeah.
That's what's awesome about the PS2, guys. Giant library. So many hidden gems. A lot of it is still cheap, guys.
Yep.
It's probably, knowing how the gaming industry goes with prices and stuff, it's probably going to start going up once people get nostalgic for it, which is 20 years old, so people are getting nostalgic.
Yeah, yeah.
Get these games now. Play them. All of them. Every game, all these content creators mentioned are incredible.
Yep.
So much fun. And you please pick up Red Star.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
And it goes again, I gotta say it again, make sure you check out these other channels. So many great people. And that's the most important part. They're great people, but also great content creators. Yep. Now get out of here. It's time for you to go play some PlayStation 2. Guys, we always appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. It means the world to us. We'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid. And happy birthday to the PlayStation 2. Now get out of here and go play your freaking PlayStation 2, would ya? We always appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid.
You do that on purpose?
No. It just like happened. I think I had a seizure. Is he gaming off the bread? How does... What? Like, I literally think something happened in my brain.
I thought you did it on purpose. I was waiting for a follow-up. But nope.
Like, what? What would make me say that?
Oh, man. I'm crying. Gave it off the bread.
Yesterday, we got the first 10 out of the way.
Yes.
Now it's time for the second round of 10.
Yep, that's it. Which is a brewery out in Seattle, I believe?
Yeah.
Portland.